but I just want to encourage educators, especially education leaders, to think about that. Just take a step back from your school processes and ask, how is my school-wide, how do my school-wide processes reflect the same kind of engagement that I know works in a classroom? Because it's translatable. Um, and I think for sometimes for school leaders, that may be the most helpful thing to just bring back to mind is, what do you know that works well in a strong classroom setting? And then ask yourself the question, how do I create that atmosphere in those same processes and procedures for a school-wide community? So as a school leader, my goal became ultimately anyone that walks into this school, onto this campus, needs to have the same kind of experience that I would have wanted them to have in my classroom. So how do I create this? And so there's no way one person could do that. So you have to build a team of other people where the caring and the character and the expectations and the norms are similar enough that that experience is something people have just stepping in. So there probably the times my heart was warmed the most at the school was when a visitor or a guest, someone would come in. Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's someone delivering yearbooks, maybe it's the paper guy, and they would stop on their way out and maybe see me and say, "Hey, what a great school. I mean, your kids are so polite, or your teachers are so helpful, or people make me feel so welcome." And I could pull the curtain back and show them all the craziness we had to deal with that day. And all, we had the same statistics that every other school had in terms of difficulties and challenges and economic distress and the number of kids on free and reduced lunches and all those things too. But what they felt and experienced when they walked in is a welcoming learning environment.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen by chance. That happens because you purposefully develop the kind of teamwork necessary to make that happen school-wide. And so um, it was an old, I won't say old is probably not the way to describe this friend of mine. It was a veteran superintendent friend when I was first an assistant principal, and I'll name her because she was a wonderful leader, Dr. Mary Jane Bias. I saw her leading a parent meeting one night with probably 200 parents in the room. And there had been some things going on in the district that were kind of contentious. So she'd called a meeting to answer questions and provide solutions. And it was so well run that when it was over, I just walked up to her and I was like, wow, that may have been the most productive parent meeting I've ever sat in. And she gave me this knowing look and she said, can I give you a little advice, Will, as a new leader? And I said, yeah. And she said, every setting is a classroom. I was an elementary teacher for 20 something years. And what you saw me do tonight was the same thing I did in my elementary classroom. I welcomed everybody in. I had set the expectations for what this meeting was going to be. I welcomed their input, but I created the norms for how we were going to speak to each other. And by the end of the evening, everyone felt listened to and they got the information that they wanted. She said, if you will approach every setting, whether it's a chamber meeting or a board meeting or a faculty meeting, or you're addressing every setting, if you address it like it's a classroom, you're going to find yourself with outcomes that are a lot more beneficial than if you don't.